You would think that distance from our thoughts, distance by avoiding distance geographically would maybe change the circumstances. Instead of being booked and busy, I got alone time, I got solo time, I got solitude. There is something more behind the fear of being alone with yourself. There really is. Perspective is everything. You can only control so much in life, and when you are in this position, give it purpose, give it intention. It just comes down to what you make out of it, what you can get out of it, what solitude can provide for you, not what it does to you. This is how I greet my friends when I see them. I'm like, but hey, it's me. It's Bree, your internet big sister. That's right, that's the one. Girl. December, I've been spending so much time alone. And I didn't want that. I'll be very honest. I did not want that. Coming back from my trip at the end of October, I was away for context, I was away for 1 month in Asia, coming back, and I kind of had goals in mind, like newer goals, and in summary, I wanted to be booked and busy. I wanted my schedule to be filled with projects and seeing people and just doing a whole lot of things. I did not get that. I did not. You know what I got instead? Instead of being booked and busy, I got alone time. I got solo time. I got solitude. I find it so interesting that as a society, we've been programmed essentially to fear being by ourselves and being so woke and shit, you know? I kind of see why. And I kind of see the reasons why people feel that way. A lot of the times, it's because people just don't want to be alone with their thoughts. I don't really like myself, like I don't like the way I think, then turns into fear. So when people are put in the same room with just them and their thoughts, they believe that all hell will break loose. And those are very real situations. Those are very valid experiences and emotions to feel. However, it doesn't have to be that way. Even when you do have ugly thoughts or even just a lot of thoughts to the point where it's just so overwhelming, it doesn't have to be as hard as you think. What you take away from this video is what alone time, solo time, solitude can do for you rather than do to you. To have a more positive experience, especially for those who already have a current bias on how they feel when they're alone with themselves, with their thoughts, I really want you to come into this phase with a neutral mindset. A neutral mindset, a non judgmental mindset, in fact. But what does that mean? Let me give you some ideas. Let me give you some food for thought. Okay? How I connect the feeling of neutrality and solitude. Solitude then means it is neither good or bad. But thinking that way really gives you a good position to even step into that space. Take one step because now you are not judging it from previous biases or current belief systems, which, listen, it is hard to simply say like I'm neutral about solitude knowing that, in your previous experiences it's brought hell, right? But you have to remember that if this is approaching within your journey, it's not happening for no reason. When you think about it, right? Again, society as a collective, for some reason, we fear being alone. And on the other side of things, when you are alone, there is so much unknown. There is so much to actually unlock, in fact. But this is what they don't tell you. When you connect to your being, you really get to meet yourself. You finally get to have that one-on-one conversation, even if it's the most terrifying decision of your life. Through context and situations and who you are, how you grew up, that's how your story has been created. And for some people, that is a difficult step to be with yourself. It's very scary, and I understand that to its fullest. So I tell you now that there is actually a different perspective. There is something more behind the fear of being alone with yourself. There really is. Perspective is everything. For myself, when I first turn on the switch of looking at something supposedly scary to neutral, I see solitude as a gateway. It is an opportunity because it is really a moment for you to sit with yourself. And you don't get that chance pretty often. Maybe some people do. If that is you, don't listen to this part. But the people who aren't often with themselves, this is literally one of your only chances. Not your only chances, but like it's one of your rare chances that you are either forced or you intentionally sit with yourself. It is a gateway to a deeper connection if that is what you're looking for. It is a connection to the self. It is connection to making connections with all these thoughts and ideas that you've been having in your head. What should I do now? How do I see my life? How do I combat XYZ? Being with yourself when you don't often do so is a very different perspective, and it is a very different compared to, asking for third party help, asking for opinions. When you enter this space, you become vulnerable with yourself. We'll see things for how they truly are because the noise isn't present, external noise. There still may be internal noise. Even if you minus the external noise, you will see your emotions for what they are. You will see, if that is your intention, what you've been avoiding, what you need to uncover, and what you have actually discovered within yourself. Look at solitude as a position to find more clarity. And for other people, it is rebirth. For me, too, I resonate with that. For me, it really was a matter of gaining clarity when I did block out the external noise. And the external noise is literally other people's unsolicited advice, random people's advice on social media, my phone, any distractions, any quick dopamine hits. If you're watching this, take what resonates and remind yourself that it is up to you on how you would like to experience solitude. It doesn't have to be messy. And I feel like that's an important thing to mention because even if I am going through or thinking about a problem that I have to solve, sometimes we make it harder for ourselves unintentionally. If you know you do that, if you self sabotage, if you know you block your blessings, oh girl, if you know you overthink, remind yourself it doesn't have to be that way this time. And it can all come from a space and a stance of neutrality. Solitude is not your enemy, girl. It is really not. It is your mind. It's your thoughts, girl. I watched this video recently, and this girl was talking about or trying to answer the question of, did I find myself when I moved to Japan? She's originally from America. And the short answer, no, she did not entirely find herself. However, she did find a lot of clues. I haven't personally experienced it, but I do want to move in the future. You would think that distance from our thoughts, distance by avoiding distance geographically would maybe change the circumstances. But then you realize you avoided it, you moved abroad, and you're still here. Your thoughts are still there. There is no escape to everything you've been avoiding. I'll be very honest, I'll be very direct. I guess I say that to say if you do try to escape solitude, you will have to meet yourself halfway, anyways. It is bound to happen. But if you want to give yourself the opportunity to see a little bit, if you're feeling a little brave, if you want to confront it, if you want to conquer that shit, girl, this is a great opportunity for you to do so. Not a lot of people willingly, unless they love their time by themselves, put themselves in a position to be alone. But if you are in that position, allow it to happen. It is a gift. It really is. What is next is rebirth. It is the rebirth of so many things. Another way to make this experience more bearable, you should come to this experience with intention and purpose. Because usually, if we do just willy nilly come into solitude knowing that, we don't like being with ourselves, we don't like being with our thoughts, it puts you in a lower state of consciousness. Guilt, shame, overwhelm, anxiety, and we all know how those emotions feel. It feels terrible. It sucks to feel like that. When you do enter lower states of consciousness, our intention then becomes divided. You know what that means? That then leads to the overthinking. It then leads to you being in fear of, what is happening right now. In moments of weakness, in low moments, I feel like it's so important to affirm to yourself that I am feeling this way, but I don't have to make it, or it doesn't have to be as hard as I'm making it right now. You can only control so much in life. And when you are in this position, give it purpose, give it intention, give yourself a goal, because things are easier when you have goals. So you can give yourself direction, a sense of direction. You don't have to be lost in these moments of solitude. And I promise you that whether you realize it in those moments or whether you realize it outside, they were actually very purposeful. It just comes down to what you make out of it, what you can get out of it, what solitude can provide for you, not what it does to you. Those are some quick thoughts on solitude and that. If you stayed to the end, thank you for watching. I tried filming this once and I kind of lost all my good quotes and knowledge because it was fresh. But then I ended up scrapping that video for certain reasons. But yeah, anyways. Oh my god. I will see you guys in the next one. Toodles!